All right, so I got a wall panel in. I'm getting ready to measure where the window is gonna go and cut it out. I did do one already. I wanted to test it out before I did the video and it turned out pretty well, but I'll kind of walk you guys through how I did this. So first I'm gonna put the wall panel in and then I'll mark off the outside where I'm gonna put it. I've already removed the support screws for the studs inside. So I'll get her all measured up and go from there. All right, so I've checked inside where the wires go. I got wires for the running lights and the brake lights and stuff, and I made sure that everything inside is out of the way. I'm going 8 inches off the top, and I'm going 10 inches off the back. I'll measure that in a couple spots. I'm kind of OCD, so I measured between, I don't even honestly know why I measured this, it's more just to check. But I want it centered on these just because that's just the way I am. But so I measured right between those, which is exactly 16 inches. And then I put a little mark at 8. And that way, I'll show you here real quick. So you can see on the center of the trim ring, which is what I used to mark out, there is this centerpiece. So I pretty much put it right center with that, and I will tape it down and go from there. All right, so I'm probably gonna block some of this shot here. I can't really move my camera mount there, but so basically what I'm gonna do is kind of hold this up here, and I got a couple pieces of tape. I'm gonna check my lines and make sure everything's centered, and I'll stick it on. So right now I'm double checking the top here. Go over just a little bit. I'm going to put that one on. This one. All right. So I got that duct taped on real good. I'll put more on it, but before I do that, I'm going to check my measurements. Make sure everything's 7 5/8, which is exactly what it was. Exactly. All right, looks perfect. So now that I got it in there, and the trim ring is, like I said, I'm using the inner lip to mark it. You gotta make sure you don't wanna distort this when you're doing it either. I did a little bit on the bottom side and had to do a little trimming on the other one. So then I'll just kind of very gently put that in. And again, the only reason I'm really taping this down so good is so when I go around and mark the actual cut lines, that I'm not distorted and that it doesn't move and out of the way. I definitely don't want that. All right, looks good. Now I'm gonna go around with my marker here and mark it out. All right, so I got my trim ring off. Everything looks perfect. Measurements all come out great. So now I'm ready to start cutting. This is a difficult process, mainly because I'm using a jigsaw and the blade isn't quite long enough to get through the studs here. So what I have to do is go up to the stud, stop, use the Sawzall to cut through the actual studs, and then the rest I do with the jigsaw. You could probably do the whole thing with the Sawzall, but it's kind of jagged and I got more control with the jigsaw. So I'd like to do the whole thing, but my blades aren't quite long enough. So the blades will cut through this and through the paneling inside, which you'll see here in a little bit. All right, so I'm not so sure if you saw that on video, but I got a hold of a beam and it bent my blade here. So I'm gonna see if I can get another one, but I might be out tonight. I'm not sure if I had another one in the shop. All right, so I got a small issue. I do not have another metal blade for my Sawzall. So unfortunately, I'm gonna try to do a workaround. I'm gonna end up doing the jigsaw, and then I'm gonna stop at the beams, cut that with a, probably my grinder, and then very, very carefully cut these with the grinder, cut out the inside insulation, and then the paneling inside. So It's going to be some more steps, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be all behind the trim rings and behind the frame of the, so it'll be fine. All right, so I was able to get this cut out. I'm gonna peel off the tape here and we're gonna test fit it, see if I need to do any more cutting. The first one went really well, so I'm hoping this one goes equally as well. All right. Nice. Perfect. Fits in there just like it did the other one. Looks good. I gotta get my son to help me hold it in. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It did end up fitting pretty well. I still have to trim the butyl tape and I gotta get some caulking. The stuff I got was actually white, but it looks pretty good. And then on the inside, it looks just as good, if not better, than the first one. So definitely these trim rings made it really nice and they look great. All right, so I got the windows in. They fit in there really nice. They're definitely a nice, good quality window. I'm really happy with these. I got them from recpro.com. And as you can see in the previous footage, it went really well. I did have a little bit of hang up on this one, which kind of got me, you know, off on the video recording because I needed to get my son's help. And I just got kind of in the zone making the, you know, the cuts and getting everything in there. And before you know it, I had the window in and forgot to really record much of that. So I apologize for that, but it's definitely something I'm going to work on and go from there. I did have a buddy from work that watches the channel kind of let me know that, like, hey, you know, go a little slower and make sure you're kind of showing how you're doing stuff. Because honestly, when I get into things, I just kind of go. And you know, recording sometimes takes time, setup, you know, you're doing different things. And I'm just not mentally in the mindset of recording. So definitely something I'm going to work on a little bit for the audience, but I definitely enjoy making videos and I appreciate everybody following along. So the next thing I'm doing now is probably focusing more on electricity. I do have some electricity in here. You can see it now kind of scabbed in here. It's not, you know, officially, all the wiring is not. I just have an extension cord that I'm hooked up to the panel, but I'll run through that in the next video because I'm going to put an inlet on the outside and go from there. So I just definitely appreciate you guys sticking along, and I apologize if the videos are kind of jump around, but I'm definitely going to try to work on that a little bit. So I appreciate it. Thanks.